Cultural appropriation is an issue that has been affecting masses of people, and often we may not know when we are participating in such action. But first, I believe we need to understand what's culture. Culture can be defined as the language, norms, values, beliefs, material items, and more that together form a people's way of life. It's a combination of elements that affect how people think, act, own, and express themselves. So now that we covered what culture is, let's dive into what's culture appropriation. As Richard A. Roberts states, cultural exploitation, also known as cultural appropriation, is appropriating elements of a subordinate culture by a dominant culture without substantive reciprocity, permission, and/or compensation.
We have four types of cultural appropriation. 1. Cultural exchange. When two groups of equal footing share cultural items, ideas, and traditions with each other in a respectful and informed way, while doing so willingly and on their own terms. Secondly, cultural dominance, also known as assimilation, similar to the structure established and enforced by white European colonizers in the Americas. Thirdly, cultural exploitation. An example of such is the act of changing its original meaning, that it is no longer accessible to the original group. Lastly, transculturation, which is the development of a cultural hybrid, similar to the introduction of a practice, tradition, or custom being introduced into an existing culture.
Questions to ask yourself. Is it sacred? Is there a process in which an individual of the culture must go through in order to receive such honor and/or recognition? Who's doing the labor and who's doing the profiting? While having people who are not of the community creating and profiting off of others' goods and/or culture, they exploit the items and/or attire of the culture for their own benefit in order to contribute to a capitalistic society. Is it a historically discriminated group who may continue to face oppression today? Is it reinforcing a harsh and/or negative stereotype and misinterpretation of the community? For example, the action of wearing sombreros, zarapes, for Cinco de Mayo as a representation of the Mexican community?